I will always be grateful to Carol because I think I would have died on the street.
When I think of Carol, I think of freedom, I think of release, I think of an earth angel.
I wouldn't have any quality of the life I have now had it not been for her.
Being a part of outreach for my neighborhood, I see a lot of things that go on in the trenches, and Carol has been very instrumental in encouraging me and others in pulling our socks up, basically, and making sure that we're the best that we can be. And I really think she deserves this recognition.
When I think of Carol Lease, I think of someone who really embodies the word of empowerment and the mission of the agency that she's helped to cultivate and to create into what it is today.
The empowerment program began in 1984 when two women came to Denver, Susan Thompson and Lila Gracie, and organized a group of people, parole officers, probation officers, community people, former offenders, to develop a program for women coming out of the Colorado State Prison. I was a member of that committee because I was then on the board of the American Civil Liberties Union, and we were trying to work with Department of Corrections to improve conditions for inmates, adult and juvenile, across the state. We opened our doors in January of 1986. Our first office was one room above a daycare center. We had one staff and a budget of $35,000. Many people thought that the program would end then, and I thought, no, we really need this. Women need this program. I looked at the characteristics of the women. Many couldn't read, they needed jobs. HIV was a big risk then, and women weren't aware of the risk that they faced. They needed education, health issues, you name it.
We've known each other for over 30 years. When I worked at the health department, and it was in the early days of the HIV epidemic, and Carol was someone who was always at the forefront, looking at the factors that led to someone being infected and arguing for the delivery of the best HIV prevention and care services that we could provide.
I met Carol in the early 90s when she was just starting empowerment, basically, and she was getting housing going for people with HIV and AIDS women.
After the board would do strategic plans, we found the women got evicted or couldn't find an apartment because of their criminal history, and so we developed housing.
About 4 years ago, through a really unfortunate set of circumstances, I found myself homeless, and I became the victim of several crimes. And even though I didn't quite fit Carol's program, she found a place for me that has been a real safe haven for me.
We now have 6 apartment buildings, so we house 120 men and women and families. We can do families now.
When I heard of empowerment, I just literally came to see Carol, spoke with her about my marriage, just me unable to take care of myself on SSI. And immediately that same day, she took me and put me in a housing program called Mariposa, which is transition housing for women and trans women. From there, I ended up getting my own place from one of her other housing programs, where I was able to go to Metro State and educate myself. I had been out of school since I was 16 years old, so going back at 40 was kind of intimidating, but I went for human services with a concentration on mental health.
And if there's anything that can be done to help, Carol will find a way. What that's even looked like at this agency is by writing grants and going and finding the money for us to keep programming going here. And so there's no barriers to services. Empowerment provides services for women regardless of whether they have any insurance, We absolutely do not bill or require proof of identity or anything that would prevent someone from being able to come here and to receive help.
We are a grant-funded agency, so anytime there's a new grant that comes into play or old grants go away, she always makes it priority to help her staff grow and expand what we're doing and learn from her example.
Carol also doesn't only care about the participants who come here, but she really loves her staff, and she shows up in a caring and really kind way.
The other good thing is that the staff on empowerment, reflect the women we work with. Staff have been in prison, they've been in jail, many have been homeless, many in recovery. They know what it's like to be really in a position where you have nothing and you have very little if any resources, and have been in violent and bad relationships.
Before I worked here, I was a participant at the empowerment program in the 80s. And because of how she ran the program and how the program is set up, it helped me to succeed and be able to come back and now work for them. I really do count it a privilege to be able to serve in a program like empowerment that helped me so much when I was in need of help.
Carol Lease is a wonderful person. She gives second chances. As myself, she believed in me when I didn't believe in myself and offered me a job here, and so I've been here for 10 years.
This is my second go around. I was here before and left and went and did other things, and she invited me back to work for her, which was awesome.
She has given me every opportunity there is to grow in my life and in my profession, and I just really appreciate all the work that she's done in the community. Everywhere I go, I do a lot of outreach in the community, and everywhere I go, everyone talks about how wonderful Carol is.
It is wonderful working for Carol Lease. Carol not only works as your employer, but she is that friend, that mom, that grandma, that angel that knows when something is going on with you and will call you into her office or just pop up in the office.
Her door's always open for anyone, for staff, participants, anyone to come and talk to her, no matter how busy she is or how full her plate is. She always welcomes anyone in her office to talk.
But to know that I can just pick up the telephone regardless and call this woman, and what's so crazy, 9 times out of 10 you get through. You know, it's personally her. It's not a secretary, it's not a recording.
She takes her time, sits with them, and is just very genuine and listens. I think that's the most important part of probably who she is how much she listens and how much she fights for people who may not have anyone in their life to fight for them, and gives opportunities for people where nobody else will provide that.
She's someone who wants to see someone succeed no matter where they've been, and she wants to help them get up no matter how many times they might fall. And she's not the type of executive that's gonna go out and care at all about recognition. She deserves recognition because she loves the women that she serves here.
And what's so crazy and what's so ironic, when I first came to this program in 2011, you know, street mentality, former gangbanger and everything, my first comment to this woman I met when I spoke to her was, ma'am, I don't even like white people. And then today, I look beyond that because it's about all people.
It's not just about me, it's about us. You know, us as a group. We have been violated, we have been traumatized, we have been ignored, we have been despised. So they see the value in working as a group and having other people support you.
All of the services, staying clean, groups, housing, everything has just been absolutely wonderful, and it's all built by Carol Lease. And fortunately, it's on good footing. It will be able to continue to the future for many people to be able to enjoy empowerment and use its services for years to come.
And that's one of our big successes, I think, is having women understand that they have the power within themselves to change their lives and to make choices of who they choose to be with and when they choose to do it and when they don't want to do certain things. So that's the empowerment. You know, we refer to women as participants, not clients, not consumers. They participate with staff here to make things different.
If anyone deserves this CNN hero award, it is definitely Miss